Alright, so tonight we are going to be making creamy tomato soup with grilled cheese croutons. I will let you know right off bat that I do not actually have any Worcestershire sauce, so I am going to skip that step. But anyway, on your Foodi, you obviously want to turn it on, and we're going to do the sear saute, and you want it on high, and I'm going to let it preheat for 5 minutes. So once it's done preheating, we'll go on to the next step. Alright, now that our Foodi has been preheated for 5 minutes, you want to add in 2 tablespoons of oil. It says canola oil, but I have extra virgin olive oil, so that is what I am using. But yeah, you add in your 2 tablespoons of oil, and then you're also going to add in your 2 onions that I have already pre-chopped, along with 8 cloves of garlic that I have already chopped as well. So this could be a little messy, but just because my cutting board is ginormous, but that's alright. And these are just regular sized onions that I bought at the store. But yeah, I was kind of surprised that the recipe called for 2 of these bad boys, so I said, well, alright. I've never made this recipe before, so we'll go with whatever the recipe says. So there's your 2 onions, and then here are going to be your 8 cloves of garlic. It doesn't look like 8, but it really is. And so you're going to mix that all up, maybe. Give this a good stir in here. And I believe we're going to let this cook for about 5 minutes. So we're going to let this cook for about 5 minutes, and then we'll go on to the next step. Alright, so it has been 5 minutes since I put my 2 onions and 8 cloves of garlic in here. And so now, the next step is you get to add in all the tomato goodness. This is one 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes. You just pour that one right in there. And also, you do one 28-ounce can of tomato puree. And this is where you would also add in that Worcestershire sauce, but like I said, I don't have any, so I am going to skip that. You do 1 tablespoon of salt. It looks like a lot, but hopefully it'll turn out alright. And 2 cups, wait a minute, let me read this first. Wait. Yes, I had to double check the recipe. 2 cups of heavy whipping cream, or heavy cream, however you want to call it. Put that in there. And your 1 teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes. Put that in there. And I believe, stir all of this up here, and you're going to actually use your pressure cooking lid here in just a second once you get this all mixed in. It looks good so far, so I'm definitely excited for it. So yeah, I'm just getting everything mixed up pretty good before I add the pressure cooking lid here, so it does say it's a creamy tomato soup, and to me it looks pretty creamy already, so I'm definitely excited. And as you can see, it looks like there's a lot, so that's going to be plenty of leftovers, especially since it's only the 2 of us, so. But alright, now that that's all stirred together, I'm going to grab my pressure cooking lid. I'm going to double check the recipe here. And actually, before I put the pressure cooking lid on, it says that you're going to cook this for 5 minutes first, and then I will put on the pressure cooking lid. So we'll be back in about 5 minutes. Alright, now that it's been 5 minutes that is cooked, you get to put your pressure cooking lid on. And of course you want to make sure it's in a seal position, because we're going to be pressure cooking here. And you want to push pressure, and I believe we're going to make it set to high, which is on high, and 10 minutes. And I'm going to start it, and then once it's done building pressure, we'll release it and go from there. Alright, so now our pressure cooker has done cooking, and it actually is really cool because it switches over to keep warm. So that way if you get busy doing other things like taking care of your kids or have a phone call or just something, it automatically just switches to keep warm, and the timer actually starts going up. So now I'm going to just put it in the vent position and wait for it to depressurize. Okay, we are done depressurizing, or whatever you want to call it. So, done with that. It's very hot. Very hot. Let's set that hot boy over there. So, next, it did call for like a loaf of French bread, only like half of it, so you cut it like 16 little crostinis, I guess you would call them. And so it just says you just kind of lay them on top. Hopefully they don't sink. If so, it's alright. Just kind of lay them around here. Because you're going to make these are going to be your little croutons. And you actually get to add mozzarella and Parmesan cheese on top of these. And then you're going to broil them for about 5 minutes. So, yeah, I don't know if all these are going to fit, but oh well. I'm going to make it all fit because I only have 3 left here, so I'm going to squeeze them in there. Oops. Oh well. Okay. And then you have your half a cup of mozzarella. It does say just to kind of put some on each little crostini here. And y'all are lucky because my cameraman almost fell asleep, so I was going to have to wing this by myself, but luckily he didn't fall asleep, so we're able to get this done. There's your mozzarella, and then you also have a half a cup of Parmesan cheese that you're going to add on top of all that. Just try to make sure you get it on each little crostini. I'm pretty excited about it because I've never made this before, and so I'm anxious to see how it's going to turn out here in just a few minutes. Because it looks like it's going to be pretty delicious. Alright. And so now we're actually going to close our lid, and we are going to, let me double check here. We're going to broil it for 5 minutes, and then it's going to be done and ready to eat. Alright, it is actually done with the broil setting. As you can see, it actually turns itself completely off, which is really nice because then again, if you get sidetracked and you're busy doing something, you don't have to worry about it like overcooking or anything like that. So that's another really awesome feature that I like. And wow. So that is it. That is your creamy tomato soup with your grilled cheese croutons is what it's called. It looks absolutely amazing. And I can't wait to try it. Obviously it's going to be really hot, but I just wanted everybody to take a nice look and see what it looks like when it's all done.